So in this module, I'm going to show you how to process different kinds of vegetables, and hopefully by applying the principle to one vegetable, you can also apply the principles to other vegetables. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to top and tail the onion. And so you don't want to take too much off here, you just want to take off just enough to get all the nasty bits off here, and the top here. And so what you're doing is you're creating a flat foundation so that you can create directly in half of the onion like this. And so now your onion halves are ready for processing. So now that we have our peeled half, what we want to do, if your recipe calls for a sliced onion, you actually want to take off this root here. It's keeping the whole vegetable together, and if you keep it on, the layers won't separate as you cook them. So what you want to do is you want to quickly just cut it off right here, okay? And then you can slice it in whatever technique that you like most, okay? And actually, let me show you one thing right here. So what I did here is it's pretty hard to keep cutting down like this. The height of the onion is pretty variable, right? So what you want to do is you just want to turn it over like this, and so that as you're cutting like this, it keeps your knuckle more safe, okay? So it was like this, so I turn it over, and then I want to just quickly continue slicing here, okay? And then once you get to the end, that's a safe way of slicing an onion. So your recipe might call for a large dice, and so typically most people will tell you to make radial cuts here and then cut like this, but it's kind of a waste for something like a large dice. So what you want to do actually is you want to do the same thing. You want to cut off the root bit here. No one wants to eat that. And what you want to do is you want to just cut it lengthwise like this. You can cut it lengthwise like this. It's going to be a large dice or a medium dice, so it's pretty big. And just quickly you know, go through your onion like this, and so you've got a pretty decent medium dice. So small dice, it's basically a dice that's a little bit smaller than the medium one. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna make cuts like this, but you're not gonna cut off the entire thing. You're gonna leave a little bit of the end bit so that the entire onion holds together, kind of like this, okay? Almost going to the end, but just keeping the whole thing intact. And then you're going to go like this and just create tiny little dices like this, okay? And then same technique as last time. When you get to the edge here, it's a little bit dangerous for you to keep cutting like this, so you can turn it like this, okay? And you can still get pretty small dices. And then when you can finish the end bits here by just making some quick extra cuts. And what you're left with is this tiny little thing that contains a root. So that's no waste, and that's a small dice. So the fine dice. In French it's called the brunoise, and typically it's used in a dish raw, and so you want the pieces to be really small so that it's not too harsh on your palate. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the root off first here, okay? Root off first, and what you're going to do is you're going to take half of this guy here and take off a good chunk of the middle bits here, because they're a little bit harsher than the rest of the onion. All right, so let's lay these guys aside. And what you want to do is you want to lay this pretty flat on your bench and just really finely slice through it. Okay, so it's really finely sliced. Just take quickly a couple of these here, and then you're just going to go through it. Okay, and that's how you get a brunoise, a very finely sliced onion. So bell peppers. You want to choose one that's a little bit shiny, doesn't have too many wrinkles on it. And so what I see most people do is they'll go through the center like this. And the seeds kind of get everywhere like this, and you have to kind of take all this out. It takes a lot of time. Let me show you a slightly different way to process a bell pepper. So what you want to do is you want to follow these ridges right here. So you're going just around the vegetable like this, okay? Around the vegetable. Trying not to get too much of the white, because the white really doesn't add anything to the dish. It doesn't really taste like anything. Okay, so you've got this middle bit here, and that's where all your seeds are. You can throw the entire thing away without worrying about any of the seeds. So now that we have our clean slice of bell pepper, what I like to do actually is I like to put the skin side up. And if your knife is sharp enough, then it should be able to slice through without damaging the flesh inside. So just use your favorite slicing technique, however you like, okay? And so now you've got your thinly sliced bell pepper. Herbs. So an herb like basil, what you would do is you would roll it like this. Put them together and roll. And just go ahead and slice through. This gives you little ribbons that you can use as a garnish. And you can do this with any sort of leafy vegetable like cabbage. Mushrooms, choosing good mushrooms. So you want to choose mushrooms that don't have a very dark bottom, so they haven't been oxidizing, they haven't been sitting out for very long. I actually like white mushrooms more than brown mushrooms because I just think they have a better texture. It's really important to wash mushrooms quickly. They're like little sponges. They just take up water, and in the restaurants we don't even wash them, we just wipe them off with a damp cloth. And so you just want to rinse them quickly under water. So slicing mushrooms. Remember that mushrooms are 90 to 93% water, so you want to slice them thinly so that they cook faster. And what you want to do is you want to create as stable a foundation as possible. I know it's a little hard to do that in the beginning, but I'll show you how to do that later on. Okay, so just quickly slice, slice, and then now here's our base right here. We're doing the exact same thing that we did with the onion. We're turning it, okay? And then we can do that again even at the end, okay? So just quickly slice, slice, slice. And you notice that I've put all my mushrooms right here so that it's really easy for me to just get the next mushroom and get on with my next slice, right? So quickly slice, 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 slice. And it's okay if they're not perfect. And once we've got a reasonable amount of mushrooms right here, this is where our pastry scraper comes in. You can just quickly pick everything up here into our little bucket. Okay, and now you're ready for your next cut.